So I decided to add some lights to my buildings. And this is three examples, each one different of how I did it. First one is the outhouse. I don't want this very bright. So what I did, I got one light off a Christmas tree line. And just cut it off. Since I'm going to run this off 12 volts, I put a 330 ohm resistor in there. So when it is plugged into the 12 volts, it'll lower the voltage and not burn out the bulb. I have the connectors I bought off eBay. And what I do is I attach two, what's referred to as a male and a female. The reason being is when I bring the power in, we're going to see if we can do this one-handed. The power comes in with the male plug. So am I going to do this or not? Okay, now the power comes in, and now I can take the power out of this one and jumper it over to the next building. This light is enough light for an outhouse, but not so much light that'd be super bright. Now on to the next building. Okay, this building, I purchased these lights off of eBay. It has self-sticking adhesive on the back, but it didn't work too good, so they're actually glued to the roof. And once again, the two little connectors, a male and a female, so I can bring the power in and take the power out with the jumper. Okay, there we go. You can see those little rascals are pretty bright. I initially had two of them in here, but it was so bright I cut one out. Now eventually my plan is I'll probably duct tape this wire to the side. And now for the big building. Okay, this time we got it plugged in, so you're not going to watch me struggle with one-handed trying to put those two together. In this building it's a lot bigger, so I put two of those little leads up in there. And once again the self-adhesive didn't work too well, and I use that E6000 glue I get from Walmart. And you can see also this building I use liquid nails all around all the grooves, trying to hold it together a little bit better. For these things, North Carolina doesn't get super bad weather, but it does take abuse. But anyway, once again, just two of these little connectors I got off eBay. You wire a male and a female in there together, and then you can make a jumper that goes, the male comes in, gives you the power, and then you can just use a jumper between the two buildings. And it works great. Hotdog Garden Railroad, doing all sorts of neat things. Okay, here's a quick look at what I used in my light project. As you can see, this is part of a Christmas tree string. I didn't use this is too big. I use this little one and its connector. Neat thing about these little ones, if you pop the top off, it's got a nice little lead in there that can be used as a light. And then I used a 330 ohm resistor. And the only reason I use that is I have a pile of them from my electronic days. Okay, enough of that. Then we got the connectors. They come in a package, and all they require is the cutting, stripping, I did use shrink tubing on my connections. I use the shrink tubing for two reasons. One, to help make it waterproof, and the other is give it some strength, because some of these wires are very fine. And this is how the leads come. They come wired all like this. If you want to blind yourself, you can power them up. They're all wired in series. And what you do when you get these things, get the power out of there. Oh no, I lost my knife. Just a second here, folks. I dropped my knife. Just a second. Okay, so these things come, and what you can do is just split it. This is a very safe way to do this, right? And they come apart like this. So if you want two of them, you can split it down here, and then you just cut this wire. And that's what I did. I strung two of them together into one building. Like that. If you only want one, then you just cut it in here. I cut it in the middle. That way, if I ever want to add on to it again for some reason, I can get to the other end. If you wanted, I guess you could cut it real short. So here you cut it real short, here, cut it right along here, then this would have a longer wire on this. What else did I use? I guess that's about it. Just for your information, the connectors are JTS or JST, and they're common for batteries for model airplanes and stuff. And 10 pair was $6, which isn't too bad. The leads, and that's $6, I believe, with free shipping from China. The other things are, the leads are DC 12 volt 5050 SMD, and 20 pieces were $4.25 with free shipping. I mean, for 42 cents for the three, LED lights. And what I don't have here is what I used to power it. I just used a converter I had. It was from an old, some kind of appliance. I don't know whether it was a battery charger for a piece of equipment or whatever. And it was actually a 9-volt one I put on the ones out there. I plan to use a 12-volt battery and possibly use a solar charger for it. But anyway, there's not a lot to it. Just a few little odds and end pieces. And the reason I use these connectors, because if I want to move a building from one place to another, I can unplug the connectors and move the building. And then just, because they're jumpered from one to the other, just disconnect, take the building and take one jumper out and just go back to the other building. It just makes it easier if you want to move stuff around. If your site is never going to change, well, then you can wire them different and maybe not use the connectors. But like even when I want to work on the building, if I get one damaged, I take the connectors, take the building, tip the building over, unplug it. I can take the building in the house and work on it. And it's just a little hint for me. Hope it helps you out. So we'll try and show you that these lights do work. The building on the left, which has sort of a light color, that is another Christmas tree light that was used in there. And then the next two windows have the regular bright lights, 2 LEDs, 1 set of LEDs. And then this is a little outhouse building here. You can see the Christmas tree light. It almost looks like a globe. I guess technically I should have put 2 in there because there's a men's and a women's, but maybe the dividing part is below that. But it looks pretty neat. What I'm going to have to do next, I think, is cut some pieces of cloth or paper and put it in the windows to look like curtains, because no one would have all their windows totally open like that. It would look a little more realistic. But it does look nice. This is another view from the back side. You can see it lights up pretty nice. It's almost like being in Germany again.